All right, everybody, let the meeting begin. We are a fellowship who share our experience, strength, and hope with each other that we may solve our common problem of addiction. This is the Boomer Island Podcast. Welcome ashore, friends. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I truly do appreciate you being here, listening to the Boomer Island Podcast and joining me, and I hope this finds you healthy and happy. All right, we're talking about addiction. Scary subject. You know, where do you begin when you talk about addiction? Very complicated subject, many tentacles, but one of the dictionary definitions is exhibiting a compulsive, chronic, physiological, or psychological need for a habit-forming substance, behavior, or activity. Yeah, that sums it up pretty good. You know, it's way more involved and tricky than that. And when you think about an addict, what do you think about? I think most people probably think about drug addicts and alcoholics. That's kind of what pops into most of our heads. And probably because the substance abuse addictions are the most famous, the most notorious. But there's many other types of addictions, and they can all be every bit as devastating. I'll name a few here, which you've probably seen or heard of. We got gambling, very destructive. Online gaming, the type, they come out of the room after 3 days with a bunch of Cheetos stuck in their hair. Shopping. You've probably heard it called retail therapy. Then you got the exercise junkie, sex addict. Hey now. Yeah, it's true. And all the eating disorders that turn into habitually being a addict, even self-harm and relationships. So that's just some of them. There's probably a lot more. And if you've been lucky enough to never been addicted to anything, hooray for you. I mean, that's great. Give yourself a pat on the back. But you've probably known at least one addict sometime in your life, if you think about it. And maybe you've been unfortunate enough to where it's been very destructive. But of all these addictions across the board, there's only one, uno, that encompasses, virtually the whole damn modern world. And take a guess. What do you think it could be? Take a little gander out there. Got it? Well, we have developed the worldwide epidemic of addiction to the internet. Yes, it's true. And via the smartphone. It may not be a full-blown addiction to everybody, but it's definitely, at the very least, a full-blown dependency. And it's such a cunning addiction that we have quite a conundrum with it because it's embedded in our daily lives, just so we can function. Us boomers remember a time with no internet. Remember boomers? And it's kind of funny. So often we'll sit here and describe something, Yeah, I was lost in Wyoming, and that was before the internet, or more aptly, that was before, smartphones. We don't really even say smartphones, we just say phones. And I don't know why, we never telephone. That's like the least thing we do with the phone. But we do remember those days, and those days are gone for children born basically from the mid-1990s and beyond. Those people have never known life without the internet just being an integral part of their daily lives. Somehow we've arrived at a place where we're all dependent on the gosh dang internet, so much so that our world, it would just descend into chaos, faster than we even want to think about if it was taken away. I mean, for example, remember when Facebook went down for just a few hours back in, I think it was 2021? I mean, there was panic. So much panic that, there was headline news coverage about it. And that was just for Facebook, just one social media platform. think if like our government institutions went, well, that might not be so bad actually, but think if the government went down, banking systems lost the internet, or your hospitals, all our businesses and the like, suddenly with no internet. I mean, it's obvious that we need it. We've become dependent on it. I don't know how we got boxed into this corner, but here we are. So, cat's out of the bag, genie's out of the bottle, can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So now what? What you gonna do? How did we get here? And you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, well, how did we get here? How did we get here? Did it just morph into this? Or was it intentional? Is there conspiracies out there? But these are questions that, we may have to learn if we're going to overcome this dangerous path we're on. We've built a society so dependent on the miracle of the online world. We've put ourselves in this precarious position while doing it. And there's plenty of data that piles up showing how detrimental social media platforms and other aspects of the internet are to our human condition. And we all seem to agree that, it's so dangerous, but we kind of point it at other people. Yeah, it's dangerous. It's that like it's not happening to us. We just promptly look the other way. But people are falling off cliffs. People are dying in other creative ways, just trying to take the old selfie. I hate that word selfie. What the hell? We're a bunch of egotistical narcissists with a damn camera phone. And we wander around like zombies with our heads down looking into the magic contraption. Hey, and I'm with you. I'm pointing the finger right there, and I am dependent. It's become an appendage of the human body. And it's not just here, not just in your town, in your city, in your county, in our country. It's all over the frickin' world. And I'm not going to list a bunch of the harmful effects that, internet addiction does. We've heard them all, read them all. We've seen the surveys. We've seen the research on it. And it just sounds like I'm beating a dead horse. But let me tell you, that horse ain't dead. That horse is alive and kicking. And that horse is picking up speed on the back stretch. That horse is going to overtake Secretariat. And we're in mass denial. Let's face it. I mean, think of it. Of all those other addictions that I spoke of, which one of those are with people at all times that they carry with? Even the strongest alcoholic doesn't always have a bottle of booze on him. We carry that dang phone with us all waking hours. And then also think of the other addictions. Obviously, it's around a lot, but all the time, is it within your reach, even while you're sleeping? Is it always on you? It's on you in your purse, right next to you in your car. This is a true dependency, ladies and gentlemen. So how do we overcome this dilemma? Oh, Lord, how can we overcome our dilemma? And I don't want to sound blasphemous, but that's where we're at. We need some divine intervention or something, because the fact is we've made it so damn necessary. How can you expect us to control it? Us, the dependent ones, or us, the full-on addicts. It's like saying, hey, you're a cocaine addict. You send them to rehab, right? Then you don't send them out into the world with a vial of coke on them at all times and just say, don't do that. Or if you're going to do it, you just do a little bit at a time. So where do we go from here? I mean, who's going to lead us? Where does that lead us? Where does all these problems lead us? You can say, okay, the giant tech companies, they'll monitor it, right? They ain't going to help. They got the golden goose. They don't want to kill the golden goose or even slow the damn goose down. The greed outweighs the need for reform. I mean, I don't know if they even understand or even want to think that they're responsible for a lot of this chaos, but you can't pinpoint it on them. I don't even know, like I said, is it intentional? I think it's like the blob that got out of control. And then you say, okay, how about legislations? How about the government? Yeah, right. You know, maybe there might be some brave lawmakers out there who don't get funded by big tech, and they might try to help. But personally, I'm too cynical of our government to believe that they'll legislate any help to us, even moderate it or legislate our way out of it. I mean, until we're off the cliff, and then something drastic will happen. But all the warning signs are there. The signposts are out there. We need to do something. So here's my idea. An old beaten up boomer just thinking about it, because it's moderation. That's the magic word. You know, when you're overdoing anything, and it's not easy to moderate. So boomers, I believe it comes down to each and every one of us to moderate, first off, our own internet usage. However you can do it. If you're on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, and all of a sudden you realize that, whoa, 2 hours went by, set a timer or whatever you can do on your own. I'm not going to set up a template here, but I think one thing that'll really help, there's a feature that I know, at least it's on iPhones, and it will alert you if you turn it on. It'll show you your weekly average of screen time, and it breaks it down. And it's shocking. So set that to begin with. I mean, that's just a suggestion, and that might wake you up a little bit. And then once you have yourself a little moderated, you know, maybe if anybody else starts talking about it, you can kind of create a little tribe, you know, the people close to you, and tell them what's happening, and maybe just bring it up in conversation if they think they're, you know, using it a little too much, or it's destroying their lives and their relationships. But like I said, we're in that box, so we got to use it. And we all realize just how amazing the internet is. I mean, it's incredible. It truly is. What a miracle. I mean, you can find anything on the frigging internet. You know, some of it's very helpful. Some of it's very interesting. Some of it's very funny. And some of it's just fucking awful. So here's a list of symptoms that broadly describe any addiction. See if you can check the box on any of these for you and your phone. Negative consequences, psychological dependency, compulsive behavior, preoccupation, neglecting responsibilities, isolation, mood changes, excessive use, withdrawal symptoms, and interfering with your daily life, and then denial. Check. Any of those ring a bell? Ding! So here's a little test for you. If you believe you aren't addicted to your smartphone, just your smartphone, go trade it in and get a flip phone. See how that works for you. I'm not asking you to give up the internet. Plenty of devices. Probably got a laptop, probably got a desktop, probably got a whatever you got. You probably got internet everywhere you look. So you can still access the internet. Just jettison your smartphone. Do it. I dare you. You're like, that's crazy, right? That's preposterous, Watson. So, first step is to admit you have a problem. I'm a boomer and I am an addict. Welcome, boomer, because you're an addict. We all are. Just admit it. Like I said, we're in that box. I'm in a glass box of emotions. We're in that box because it's necessary. We've found ourselves here, and now we got to figure out a way. You know, maybe the internet will get us out. The old AI is going to figure it. Yeah, right. Okay. So I really don't have any solutions. I just want to make you aware of it. The best thing I can come up with is to strive to moderate our usage, and hopefully that'll try to eliminate all of these destructive patterns that we're developing. Nothing we're doing is easy, and I think this is definitely worth doing. So that's just one addict's opinion to another. What do you think, boomers? You want to try to do some moderation? All right, I'm going to close the meeting with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom